A second plane appears in the sky. The eyes of the world already focused on...
He said, I'm not scared of a germ. I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats.
A great deal about the fantasies and the fears and prejudices of our time.
And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House! Ah!
You gotta have them ribs. And pussy, too.
Apparently, according to you guys, there's nothing going on up here, but apparently there's nothing going on in your brain either. Maybe I can bust my skull open so you guys can get a look inside mine. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are with JAS Late Night, JAS Live Late Night in the afternoon. Did something happen this weekend? No, nothing happened this weekend. Okay, good. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But first, we're going to do a little bit of something different. You know, we used to have the little bar at the bottom, and it told you the story, and I read online. We're going to do something a little different. We are actually going to watch videos and commentate over them. I first want to talk about drama that's happening in the LCU. Usually I say, fuck the LCU. I'm not talking about them. But I'm going to do it today. I'm going to talk about the LCU today because Keemstar is doing some stupid shit, as always. Billy the Fridge doesn't work there anymore, so now I feel like I can attack them without attacking someone that I appreciate the talents of. There are still some talented people over there, but Keemstar let Billy the Fridge walk out because of a toxic workplace, and Zeyzooted was about to walk out, another talented member, over a toxic workplace and her valuing what the fans want, which I don't know if you know, but if you're making stuff on the internet, you have to value what the fans want. You can't just say, fuck the fans, like Keemstar did. So we are going to take it over to Keemstar in a clip from Local Glass. How many shows do they have now? I don't know because they have too many. They literally, I'm going to show you guys in just a minute. They have so many shows now. Let's pull up, let me see if I can pull up the list. They have a whole list of shows. And, like, it doesn't even make sense because they were like, we're going to get rid of all of these shows because there's just too many. And then made Billy the Fridge president, decided, I don't want to do this whole president thing anymore. And then, you know, all of this. Let's see if we can get to shows. All right. Bear with me. No, I'm on the wrong one. Their thing is so ass backwards. So, like, the schedule shows all the shows, but it browse all the shows. Why wouldn't you just do watch? Anyways. So, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 12 shows on their main circuit. 9 shows on their B circuit, and then they have a C circuit with 4 shows. It's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 25 shows. If I was Keemstar, I would just knock them down to, like, being an hour-long show. Because they always do stupid shit, right? And let's be real, the best way to do a live show is to just, like, throw it on for an hour. And, like, with everything going on, it would make a lot more sense to just, you know, do a 1-hour show. If I had the opportunity to do 24 shows with, like, different people on all of them, that's how I would do it. I would do, like, an hour-long show per person, unless you have, like, I guess, like, Local Rewind, which I don't know if it's even airing anymore because you let the one person that does a really good job on the show walk out. Hold on, let's see what we can do with this. So we have a tweet, an exit, or whatever you call X posts. And here is this guy. He was just sharing a clip, and I think this is fun.
And a lot of rules were broken in these 2 channel VCs and their chats.
So some rules got broken. They were doing side chats for each of their shows, and they got the side chats taken away because there was some, like, crazy shit happening in them. And this is Zeyzooted talking now, who's like, hey, You didn't even give us the opportunity to be able to moderate these ourselves. You just expected the server moderators to moderate. As we said before, there's like 25 shows. And each of them have their own little side chat in their Discord server, which, like, why you expect a moderator to be able to moderate 25 channels plus the regular server channels? Crazy. Anyways.
To delete messages before, how were we?
I have a
to
suggestion
mod
that solves all
them?
this.
I'm asking.
Because
Deleting it is not what you're supposed to do.
we reported
banning,
it to mods. We did.
banning the person that breaks the rules is what you're supposed to do. And you can't ban people. You're supposed to notify a moderator that this person needs to be banned.
So I did everything I was supposed to do, but because the mods weren't acting fast enough, or even in Green Queen's situation, the revenge porn one, I was told by the mods that she had a get out of jail free card. That's what.
Well, I'm having a hard. This is not playing on the stream very well. It's because it's from Twitter, but anyways.
So what am I supposed to do?
What mod told you that?
Whatever. That's what she said. The mod told her. I'll show you the screenshot of the message of what she told. She said the mod told her she has a get out of jail free card.
That's what she
and that
said.
was when Rush was here. That was when Rush was here. I promise you, it was Rush.
Okay. Well, Rush is no longer here now. All I know is a lot of fucked up shit was said in these side.
So yeah, basically a bunch of stuff was said, and so
we don't have the bandwidth to cover them.
Yeah, we can't moderate these side chats that your viewers pay for. Because I can tell you right now, as someone who I started interacting with the LCU because Billy was on there. Billy had left the Drunken Peasants because they weren't paying him money. Drake Drexel actually called it out and mentioned it on this show that they apparently were not paying him enough money. So he walked out. And see, the funny thing is, actually, Billy went over there. They make crazy money, right? Because the only reason why people like Keemstar or want to work for him is because he makes money and they want his money. Sorry, I wanted my seat to be more up. I wanted to be more in the frame. So he wanted to make more money, so he went over there to the LCU. Well, he actually wanted to make money, so he went over there to the LCU. And, good old Keemstar there started, laying into... they just do stupid shit. Let's be real. They do stupid shit, and so he came on there, was doing his thing, and so I went over there, and I was like, hey, let me check this out. Of course, Keemstar has a reputation of being, a little shit, basically. He's done stupid shit. He's been online for a long time. Of course he's gonna do stupid shit. We all do stupid shit. We all do. Trust me. So Billy went over there, and it's a crazy environment, right? They do these events called Fat Camp, which they've done 2. The first one was crazy. They were faking domestic abuse things happening. I think on the second one there was less of that. But Keemstar's number 2, the number 1 talent on the network is Boogie, which I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He faked cancer a long time ago. It was a big thing. He was featured on the White House's TikTok. But anyways, I actually came on a show with Billy and did a episode of his show Lolcow Rewind. I did a little segment where I was talking about the people that I was excited to see, the things that I was excited to see as someone who migrated from the place where Billy previously was. And I actually mentioned Zeyzooted. I was like, man, I actually really enjoy hearing her takes on what's going on. And it was really cool. She would be a talent to have anywhere. But so here she is with Keemstar, and she's pleading her case, like, hey, Keem, let us have mods for our sideshows. And Keem's like, I just fixed the problem by just deleting it. So these fans paid. These fans paid money. Okay, this is the thing. They're paying money to turn around and be told by Keemstar that, fuck the fans. So let's hear some more of what he's saying here.
And it does not have a benefit to us. It's only a problem.
I get what you're saying, but hear me out, yeah? What if you get these 3 mods? So we'll pay them, whatever. Put them under me. I'll monitor it as well with them. If anything goes wrong, just put the accountability on me. I'm to blame.
I kind of have no problems right now because there's no channel VCs. So you're not going to.
That's what we talked about before. That's what we talked about before. He's like, no, we're not going to do this. This is not. It's not what we're going to do. And it's like, come on, man. Like,
freedom. I don't have to deal with any of your guys' shit, and it's awesome. And
I don't have to deal with any of you guys' shit. That's your job. If you don't want to do this, then just dismantle this thing because we know this is not what you're living off of.
The channel VCs are a nuisance. They are fucking horrible. They're nonstop headache for all of us. And I deleted your shit, and it felt good for that reason. You don't understand my point of view. You don't respect our moderators and their point of view. You only want to pander to the audience. And today, you and the audience got fucked.
Okay, Keem. Well,
So here's.
consider this my resignation then, because I think I'm done here.
So here she is. Zeyzooted is about to quit because of this. She's like, hey, I'm here for the fans. We're not doing this thing for the fans anymore. I'm done.
He can come back if he wants to talk about it, because I don't want to leave on bad standing, Keem, but I think I'm done.
No. Come on.
I'm over it.
Come on. Zay.
He does not care about me being here. He just
Zay?
said that. Did you not hear what he just said? He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he did.
And so this is the environment that he creates. This is the environment that Keemstar creates. Daniel Keem, good old D Keem. He's definitely a D. So here's a tweet. This guy shared another clip of Keem later on, sharing his perspective. Where Keemstar is just going on talking about it. Hold on, I'm having to refresh it to make sure it pops up on the screen right. I don't know why it's flickering. This is the issue with playing videos on X, apparently.
I disagree with chat all the fucking time. You want to know why? I actually do this for the living. They just watch.
So this is my job. They just watch. That is Keemstar's point of view here.
Watch. The fuck? Those motherfuckers are not doing these shows. They're not fucking making the damn content. They're watching it.
Yeah, so that's his perspective here, is that this is just what the people these are just what the people watching want. It has nothing to do with this is what, the people paying my salary want, which Keemstar doesn't care, because Keemstar just does whatever he wants. This is not how he makes his money. He has a race car. For LOLcow Live. I find that one to be stupid. Like, what? You have a race car for LOLcow Live, really? And then he also has like he just does stupid stuff. And so we had somebody in the chat that said, I'm so old I remember when Billy was an associate of Leafy is here. Yeah, so actually I had a friend. I did not know Billy, because, like back in the day, my content was like Smosh, Rhett and Link, and really like that far back in the day, I don't think I was old enough to really be watching that much content online. But yeah, I definitely remember like watching Smosh games around maybe that time. But Leafy, so I was participating in a Drunken Peasants event that they do. I don't know if they still do it, because they've banned like a lot of their community just because they were like, they loved Billy. Not that people were saying anything or anything. They just like started banning people who were there. The only one person that didn't get banned was somebody who was like, who messaged him, was like, hey, by the way, like, I'm cool. I'm still gonna watch your show, blah, 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 blah. And everybody else just got banned. So that's really why I went over there. But I was doing an event, and because an acquaintance and a coworker here on YouTube, I say coworker, a fellow YouTuber recommended me over there to them. So I went over there and started watching Drunken Peasants and started participating in this event called what is the name? It's not Content Mania. It's Actual Mania. It's called Actual Mania. You're basically submitting videos to go head to head with the person. I think it has to be like anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes. So I was participating, and I was showing another one of my friends, Billy's reaction and everything to mine. He goes, Billy the Fridge? He goes, I'm like, yeah, you know Billy? Like, that's crazy that you know Billy. Because, like, he was also my age. He was like, yeah, I used to watch Leafy back in the day. He used to be there with Leafy and Onision. And I was like, wow. I was like, that's crazy. I didn't realize Billy's impact until then. And then, obviously, I started following Billy. I checked out some of, like, Billy's history, and I loved the fact. Really, what got me hooked on Billy was the Westboro Baptist Church thing. He broke into the founder of the Westboro Baptist Church. He broke into his trailer naked and was trying to hug him. And he was like, hey, I think he started saying, what was it? He was Leviathan is what he came in there, started yelling. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can find the clip. Billy the Fridge. Billy the Fridge Leviathan. I think the video is censored. I'm going to watch it really quick just to make sure, but I think the video is censored. So here's the video talking about what happened. I think that'll be a better indicator of what we want to show. Let me just get it pulled up. Really quickly. Here we go. Billy the Fridge sits on a homophobe. Pull up the watching screen, and we're going to load this video. I accidentally pressed a button. I think this is it. So this is a video where Tommy C., who's also part of the LCU now, that he's talking about the story. I think this do better justice. Wait, do we have it?
Jamie Pine, you're on the air.
Hi.
Hello, sir.
It's everything seems kind of mellow. I thought I'd come in here and cheer the vibe.
Don't cheer me up. Don't try it. Bad fucking.
So this is just an intro or whatever.
Did you hear? Okay. Did you hear of that headline a few years back of Fred Phelps' son? So Westboro Baptist Church.
Yes.
His son. Was doing an interview, and hold on, let me find it.
Fred Phelps.
This is worth it. Fred Phelps. Okay.
God hates fags guy, right?
Yeah. So the guy went on to say that
was doing an interview, and there was it went a little wrong. Okay.
So the guy at the Westboro Baptist Church, I think this is actually the son of the guy of the Westboro Baptist Church. Anyways, he was doing an interview because he's famous because I guess he likes to target certain issues like LGBTQ issues and claim that God doesn't like gay people. But this guy got a little surprise. And here is going to be Tommy C talking about it.
It works. Wilbur, thank you so much
You got
for
it
£5.
working.
Now it works. I don't know why it's £5 and not $5, but I'll take it. Here's another one, but now it's stuck. For fuck's sake, dude. This is so important.
Okay, so this was the headline. Alleged son of Westboro Baptist Church leader attacked in
alleged son
by a naked 500-pound man who burst out of bathroom, sat on him and shouted, "Who's your daddy?"
Who's your daddy?
That's a real headline. And you know who the guy was?
Who is that?
Billy the Fridge.
Billy the Fridge.
Billy the fucking Fridge.
Stone Cold Killer. Face like vanilla himself, Mr. Billy the Fridge.
Please, start this at the very beginning.
So I found this yesterday, and it's cute, and it's the funniest thing. It's a Mail Online headline. Alleged son of Westboro Baptist Church leader attacked, and you can Google this, in publicity stunt, and there's a video by a naked
there is a video, yes,
man who burst out of bathroom, sat on him, and shouted, "Who's your daddy?" And there's a video.
He busted in Leviathan, and then
interviewed when the man ran at him. He calls himself Billy the Fridge.
Are you kidding me? Send me this video right now.
Do you need any more proof? Oh, come on, Judas betrayed.
Here it is. Here it is.
It's right there. Like that would have been the normal tip-off. Like, hey, I'm just gonna make out with Jesus. Normal, all right. Very on the down low.
This is a mockery. It's been a mockery from the beginning. Is this what you plan for your mock crucifixion as well?
It's not a mock crucifixion. We're actually crucifying the guy, and he is actually gay.
Do you have any idea? You have any idea what it is to receive the payment for your sins from
Here we go. Here we go. It's happening. It's happening. Just watch it. Just watch.
Romans 12 says he will pile it on your head like hot coals from a fire.
So it's about as bad as listening to you.
This is what you got.
It's coming up. It's happening.
I condemn absolutely every minute of it. May God bring his wrath in a way that all will know it comes from him. May he indeed. God hates fags. Fags doom nations. Unless you've got anything shy of an apology or a repentance, I'm done.
Don't go.
Here he is. Here he is. The Leviathan.
Leviathan! Leviathan!
That's the clip. And that's why I love Billy the Fridge, because the Westboro Baptist Church can go fuck themselves. You heard me right. The Westboro Baptist Church can go fuck themselves. But that's why I love Billy the Fridge. He's always down to do something. Except for be on a live stream with me, because I have another story about Billy the Fridge to tell. So I was doing Drunken Peasants. I actually got around to being on an episode of the Drunken Peasants. And that night I was excited to work with Billy. Like, Billy had actually appeared on Degeneracy Live a couple times whenever I wasn't there. So Billy came on, and Billy, Billy being Billy, they're introducing Billy to me, talking about me to Billy. And so Billy has this quote that he says, because he reads a message from somebody on the panel, and he was like, oh yeah, he will suck and fuck you for a mention on Twitter. And so I was doing this bit on Actual Mania where I was talking about Billy, and I was doing a bit on Actual Mania where I would play the clip from Degeneracy Live where he was talking about sucking and fucking, and then I was like, okay, Billy, where's the follow? Where's the follow on Twitter? Or where's the mention? And so I was implying that I sucked and fucked him. And I was excited to be on the show with him after all of that. And then that night that I appeared on Drunken Peasants, he was off the show. So yeah, that sucked. He was actually on Degeneracy Live, I guess because they were paying him, and Drunken Peasants probably weren't, because that was not long before he quit. And then I think one time I was supposed to appear on the show on Degeneracy Live with Billy, and he pulled out. So I just want to say, Billy the Fridge is scared of me. Billy the Fridge is a coward, but I still love the guy. He's great. He's scared of me, though, right? Like, that's what I've learned is Billy the Fridge is afraid of me. Billy the Fridge would never come on the show with me. This is where everybody thinks that I'm about to just press a button and Billy the Fridge comes on, but he's not. He's not. I've actually asked him to be part of when we were doing the live stream with Drake Dragsaw in New York. I asked him to be part of it, and he's like, nah, no thanks. I was like, really, dude? I was like, come on, it's for charity, which it was supposed to be for charity originally. And he wasn't going to come on, and then that's whenever we later decided we would actually do it in person with Drake Dragsaw. And that was a suggestion by Aiden and Logan. And I actually, speaking of Aiden and Logan, I think it'd be really fun if at some point on the show I reacted to a podcast that I did with the guys. So I guess next stream I'm going to do a donation goal, because I don't have donations on or anything on the stream. But I'm going to do a donation goal at some point to where, like, if you donate a certain amount of money, I will watch the podcast that me and them never released where we say some fucked up shit. Well, I don't say any fucked up shit. They say some fucked up shit. And then, yeah, before I took it to the edit room, they were like, you're gonna get on there, you're gonna say some fucked up shit and just edit it out. And I actually really didn't do a lot of editing on the podcast, so that's really fun. Let's see what else we have that we can watch. I think there was a video I found talking about, well, I guess we're going to have to watch a clip talking about the attempt on the president's life. Very scary stuff. Political violence, never okay. I think I will continue to say that forever and forever. But in order to do all of this, we're not getting, even though this was a serious situation, we're not getting rid of our lovely intro where we're going to talk about Mr. Dictator Donnie. So take it away, Dictator Donnie.
Gold-plated gospel from the resolute throne. JD grin stage left like the kingdom's home. Susie keeps the metronome. Steven draws the lines. Caroline can Febreze a landfill into shine. They sell you fear with the star-spangled grin. Call it order while the guardrails cave in. Donnie wants a crown, but he calls it common sense. A bargain bin strong man wrapped in grievance and pretense. Dictator Donnie, pounding on the balcony rail. Cabinet karaoke while the safeguards fail. Sharpie like a scepter, tariff tambourine. Every lie gift wrapped in a patriotic sheen. Dictator Donnie, all that gold paint peels when the lights hit town. Hey, 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 hey. Dictator Donnie.
Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. I am the least racist person, with the exception, possible exception, but the exception of Abraham Lincoln. I can't even see the audience because it's so dark.
Yeah, the audience, it's so dark. I'm trying to find a good clip to show. There's XQC talking about it. I'm not watching that shit. We have the moment that everything happened, and then we have a video talking about 10 shocking moments that you missed, I guess. So we're gonna cut to the watch screen again, and let's turn this video on. Oh, it's Control N. Sorry. I'm gonna play that. Let's watch this one. Woo! This is crazy. I mean, like I said before, political violence never okay, but here it is. Do we have any audio? I don't know that it has any audio. But yeah, you kind of see everything's going good. Whatever, you know. And you see everybody starts panicking. You see really quick, there's J.D. Vance right there. You see how quick, then there's Trump right there. They got to J.D. Vance quick, and they pull him out, and there's Trump. The guys are just standing in front of Trump while the other people scramble to pull him up. Oh, it's not showing. Why is it not showing? No. Come on. It's not showing on the screen. Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, if you look... so here's the whole thing. So everything's going good. Oh, we have volume. Everything's going good. So, and here's what we have. I can draw on the screen a little bit. Let me pull this down here. So, hard to see. I think the second person right here, that's Vance. Okay. Oh, or not. I need to just clear this drawing because I can't. It's hard to see. I'm not going to lie. Oh, my gosh. It's hard to see to draw. Okay, here we go. Now we got it. So right here is Vance. Okay. And here is Trump. You're going to see his security comes in this way. Trump's security is going to come in this way. But they're going to stand in front of him because, you know, you can't move a guy like Trump that quick. But Vance gets pulled out of there. I don't know if that says anything about it, but I know a lot of conspiracy theorists were like, they're trying to hurry up and they're trying to hurry up so that Trump can, so that Vance can take over or whatever. Here you'll see just a few moments. Oh, you heard shots outside. Vance is like, what? And then he points. He's like, well, what's going on out there? And Trump just keeps, doing his thing. And everybody's like, oh, shit. And then you see Secret Service like, we need to get these guys out of here. We need to get Trump and we need to get Vance out of here. The guys in front of Trump take forever to stand up. I think it's just nobody knew what was going on because it all happened so fast. The band is still playing. That's crazy. The band is still playing. Yes, I mean, you see how fast they pull Vance and Trump out of there. They pulled Vance first, and I think it's just because it was easier to get Vance out of there. If you got to save one, save the young guy that's easier to get out. Unfortunately, that's crazy. That's crazy. Let's pull up another one. I think we have another one on here. Let me delete that one from the queue, and we can play this one. Let's play this one. Let's see what's going on here. I hope it actually plays it on screen. We got it?
President Donald Trump being evacuated from the White House Correspondents' Dinner last night before the festivities even began. The Secret Service rushing.
Uh-oh. What's going on? It stopped playing. Do we not have the video? Oh, here we go. Here we go. The guy's talking some more. Let's... Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I think we got it. I think we got it now. Let's play it. I don't hear it. Do you guys hear it?
Pretty wild
No?
stuff. I'll admit it.
we go.
But that wasn't even one of the most shocking things that happened last night. There were
What
10
was the
other
most
things
shocking
that you
thing
may or
then?
may not know of, and in fact, they may not want you to know of them, that happened
Oh,
before,
really?
during, and
They don't
after
want
the
you to
event.
know
The first
this.
one was actually Caroline Leavitt giving an interview.
So, yeah, okay, so somebody in the chat, I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat because I was drawing my little draw elements next to my chat. So I've heard a lot of people suggest that the shooting is staged. This is what the person said. I learned a colleague of mine on Reddit has expressed that he believes that the shooting was staged. I'm not going to jump to conclusions one way or the other, but the tweets about the ballroom are weird. Look, I get that. I totally understand that. Just like the Butler, Pennsylvania shooting assassination attempt. Possible. I mean, who knows, right? The FBI shot Martin Luther King Jr., potentially the Secret Service killed the FBI, maybe CIA, maybe killed JFK. So we don't really know, to be completely honest with you. But if this isn't staged, if none of this has been planned, then I want to be clear in saying something needs to be done about Secret Service. But to be fair, this was foiled, right? So, but how did we not know that this man was planning this out? I find it interesting. I definitely don't think it's staged. I've expressed this before. I think conspiracy theories are just stupid in these cases, but let's see what else this guy thinks is shocking about it.
Fox News before the event. Listen to what she said.
Oh,
about
yeah, this is crazy. I think this is a coincidence, but he's going to mention this Caroline Leavitt clip where she talks about shots being fired, which is insane.
What was shortly to come.
It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
Uh-oh.
Everyone
You guys hear her?
really great.
Hold on. What did she say?
Fox News before the event. Listen
What did
to
she
what
say?
She said about what was shortly to come.
It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So
She just said it. She just said there'd be shots fired. She knew. She knew.
Now, of
I'm
course, she
just
was talking
kidding.
about the jokes that Donald Trump.
Again, like he said, she was talking about the jokes. But she knew. She knew.
Trump had ready to go. The jokes that he was cocked and ready to fire out at the media, at the press, because, you know, that's what you do. It's like a roast. It's the White House
It
Correspondents'
is.
Dinner.
Well,
/
see,
roast.
but the funny thing is they didn't have a comedian this time around. They explicitly said they were not going to have a comedian. They had a mentalist. You could actually see the mentalist talking to Melania and the president whenever everything went down. And You know, it's crazy. I'm going to say this. It is crazy that this mentalist wrote down the word. I don't know if this clip is real because I've seen the clip, but I think the mentalist wrote down the word pedo, P-E-D-O, which is crazy because in the shooter's manifesto, he called the president a pedophile. So, but also on the same hand, who knows? Like, because you know, it's you could. There's a lot of stuff out there right now. Just search up Donald Trump and Epstein, you know. But it is kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy that this is what's
playfully rib your competitors and your compatriots. And well, Donald Trump competes with the press more than any president ever has.
True.
And Caroline Leavitt went viral after that for those comments, even though, of course, she knew nothing about what was going to happen. One of the other things that was really, truly remarkable was the backstage vantage point video we got of JD.
This is interesting. This is really interesting. Here's what I was talking about.
You can see
So there's
they run in,
Vance.
They grab the vice president. He gets taken off to the right. President Donald Trump.
And I will say, I saw this clip first, and I thought, oh my gosh, what the hell are they doing? Until I saw the clip from the front, and I saw that they threw two guys in front of the president. And I think that's just because they were trying to hurry up and get him lifted and out of there. I mean, Vance is a young, healthy guy. It's easy to get him up and out of there. But also, on the same hand, he's the president of the United States. You got to be a healthy guy. You got to be a young, healthy guy. And if you're not, this is what could happen. If Secret Service had a hard time, they could have gotten shot. They could have went down, and the president would have been exposed, and that would have been bad.
Secret Service comes in. They surround the table. They get him off to the left. And Melania, the first lady, is there as well. Caroline Leavitt is rushed off stage. Everybody's put back to safety. A lot of folks are asking about this clip, and they're saying, why is it that J.D. Vance was taken off first? Why is it that President Donald Trump was taken off second? Well, as far as the Secret Service goes, they don't talk about their operational procedures, nor should they. They don't.
Well, and that would be something that I wouldn't want to talk about, but I think, like I said, it's very clear what happened there.
Talk about what's procedural in the Secret Service because they don't want people to know. They don't want people to be able to take that information and plan ahead. But we do know this much. The Secret Service detail for the vice president and the Secret Service detail for the president are independent details. They work independently of each other. So when the shots are fired or the stuff goes down, basically, J.D. Vance's team ran in faster than President Donald Trump's. Now,
right. We talked
President
about
Donald
this.
Trump also had the first lady. I believe
Yep.
was added. There's added military intervention that has to happen. The guys had to come in with the guns. JD Vance, they just had to get out of there. And of course they go separate ways because you need to keep the vice president and the president separated. That is the
What's crazy to me is I found out this thing. I found out there is no designated survivor in these cases. No designated survivor at all. That's scary. I think they said at the event, everybody was there up to Chuck Grassley. So I think if forbid there would have been problems, I think Chuck Grassley would have been our president, which is crazy. That Chuck Grassley would be our president right now. But either way, it's crazy to me that we don't at all times have a designated survivor. I guess we kind of do, right? Because like at some point you go through the military chain of order and like there are people abroad. But there should always, in my opinion, at all times be a designated survivor that is on the other side of the country, that's in California, Texas, Washington State, somewhere. You need to make sure someone is somewhere away from DC, away from the East Coast, or the northern east, the northern part of the East Coast, so that, or the central East Coast, so that, we don't have an issue, right? That's what I found the most crazy is that, like, it really, if they all would have been there, our government would have fallen. And imagine this is something this is something that I think a foreign adversary would have, like, this would have been like Christmas Day to them. A foreign adversary could have figured that out and been like, oh my gosh, Iran could have figured that out and been like, hey, let's send somebody with a bomb. And then they could have bombed the press dinner and then, But yeah, a lot of people are thinking it's a conspiracy theory because of the ballroom. I don't know. I find it weird, but I'm also trying to look at it from a lens of the other side, right? Because I belong to neither side, so I try to look at it from the lens of both sides, and it's a crazy event, really. It's really a crazy event. Let's see what else this guy has to say about the attack.
Presidential line of succession. Mike Johnson was also in the room somewhere, but he just ran out the front door and I think hit the bathroom or something. So, but that was what, just to have that vantage point, just to be able to see from behind the scenes that closely to the vice president being dragged away and the president also being evacuated is one of the wildest vantage points.
What motherfuckers pulled their phone out?
But they're, it's all media people.
What motherfuckers pulled their phones out and just started filming this?
A lot of reporting. Another really wild thing that happened was some of the reaction of the guests. Everyone there was pretty high profile, either a media reporter or a media industry insider. There were a lot of celebrities there. And politics, and Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk, who also attended. Now, keep in mind, just 7 months ago, her husband was a sniper at the Utah Valley University while he was giving a speech, while he was doing his TV.
So yeah, I think he's going to talk about it a little more. Hold on, let's see. So that doesn't. I would have that reaction too. That would be very traumatic. Man, I feel for her kids, right? Because if something would have happened, like we said, like with the presidency thing, if something would have happened, holy shit, dude. If something would have happened, her kids would have been without both parents. And that would have sucked.
I again have I've never been shot at. I've never had a loved one shot at, but I imagine for women whose husbands, and Melania Trump as well, she's gone through this multiple times, having to watch her husband in Butler, Pennsylvania, take a bullet to the ear, having to watch again as he was playing golf in another.
Allegedly take a bullet to the ear. Okay, let's slow down there.
Ryan Ruth was pulled out of the bushes. Multiple other attempts that we probably don't even know about. It is very difficult for the wives and the women and the widows in this case. And Erica Kirk's reaction shows that. A reaction of a dramatically different kind was that of owner and CEO of the UFC, Dana White, who thought it was just awesome.
Dana White, dude.
Tables getting flipped over, guys running in with guns, and they were screaming, "Get down!" I didn't get down. It was awesome. I literally took every minute of it in, and it was pretty crazy, unique experience.
So you were on the aisle. What exactly did you see?
We were sitting right in front of the table.
Okay.
Right in front of where the president was.
Yes. And what exactly happened? So someone got tackled, or like what?
Nobody got tackled. Okay. The guys came in looking for shooters. And they came toward our table. I thought the shooter was over by us or something. But, yeah.
So you didn't see the actual attack yourself. Okay.
I love that he called it awesome. That's funny.
Yelling and ducking under tables. Erica Kirk is about to leave in tears. And
That's such a Dana White thing.
Awesome. It was the most amazing. What a night. 10 out of 10. Would do again. Highly recommend. Dana White's probably on what's it called? Google giving a 5-star review to the Hilton Hotel. He's probably on. He's like, let me give a review to this whole night because I just the best. I mean, he wants to come to the next one. I 100% am sure about that. RFK Jr. got a little bit of flack. Not that it was his fault for the way he exited. Not necessarily for the way he exited because the Secret Service came in. He's a cabinet member. He's the Secretary of Health and Human Services. The Secret Service came in.
RFK Jr. is crazy on this too.
His wife Cheryl Hines, who was caught on camera kind of limping behind. Here comes the Secret Service. They've got RFK. They're dragging him up and over the stage. Stephen Miller and his wife. And here's Cheryl Hines. No protection. Nobody around. Tables are being thrown. Loud bangs.
Do the wives of cabinet members get protected?
That was, again, it's chaos. It's chaos when you're there. Pete Hegseth is there with Dana White. And they want Dana White to leave. And of course, as we know, Dana White does not leave. He just kind of sits there and he watches what happens. People start screaming USA. This is exactly, there it is. There's Dana White. He's just chilling. He's like, I'm just watching. I'm having a great time. A much better time than Cheryl Hines was. I will at least say that. Now, Carrie Lake, you may remember Carrie Lake. She ran for governor in Arizona. She ran for Senate in Arizona. President Donald Trump. A lot of people thought they thought it would give her some kind of cabinet position, and she is now in charge of the VOA, the Voice of
Some of these
America.
people's
Carrie Lake
reactions
was being
is
ushered
like,
out, and
what?
she found herself walking right next to CNN's Jake Tapper. And of course, she wasn't going to not say something.
Sorry, but guys, I walked out, and I walked out as a complete, I'm sorry, he's a fool. Walking out next to Jake Tapper, and I looked at him and I said, how dare you? You have caused so much division in this country, pushing lies. I said, we're not going to call it gaslighting anymore. You've lied to the people. How dare you do that? And I saw so many people from all of these news outlets who've just spread abject lies about President Trump over the years. They're part to blame of this, and I don't mean to get dramatic.
No, they're not.
But I, as an American mother,
No, they're
American,
not.
am tired of it. I'm tired of the fake news that has just spread nothing but lies. Trying to
I'm sorry. Okay,
trying
hold
to
on.
Go against the American
So
people.
here's my problem, right? And I will say this constantly. There has been no president this divisive in history. Right? There's been no presidential candidate this divisive in history. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't blame the people in left-wing media for this. That's what I'm trying. What? That's who you're blaming for this. You're blaming Jake Tapper. You're blaming Jake Tapper for somebody trying to shoot the president. Yeah, it's all his fault. How dare his news organization and him be complicit in covering the news stories about the president? So I need to watch more right-wing. I don't watch a lot of news, period. I need to watch more right-wing news so I can see how they cover the stories. Because, like, when the president was convicted in New York, that was a story, like, that would be really good to watch to see how they cover it versus how the left-wing cover it. Because the left-wing are probably like, hey, here's the facts, here's what, the prosecutors are saying, and then the right wing was probably like, well, they're prosecuting him and it's because they want a witch hunt, blah 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 blah. And it's like, dude, they were just presenting facts. I've never watched left-wing news with the exception of one person. I've almost never watched left-wing news and been like, you're spinning propaganda here. So either they're much better at propaganda or something. Like, I don't think the left is doing a propaganda machine. I don't know what your thought process here is, Carrie Lake. I really don't. Because I watched the right wing one time. I was like, what, I'm going to turn on some Newsmax just to kind of have on in the background. And I'm watching, and here they are playing commercials about the president's merch. Like, literally, they were playing commercials about the president's merchandise. What? If that's not propaganda, I don't know what is, right? That's like putting your face on a fucking coin. I don't... Here's my problem, right? They do this shit. Like, the president, regardless of whether or not he actually committed the crimes in New York, whether or not any of the stuff that, the left has called him out for, whether or not any of that has happened, my friend, they're reporting on what's going on. What do you want them to do? Not report? I don't understand the biases against the left-wing media. I really don't. Because I don't watch them, unless I'm sitting there watching Don Lemon, I don't think that the left is doing conspiracy. Like, the two people I used to, like, if I would watch clips from, the two people I would watch, one would be, like, Don Lemon, and the other one would be Tucker Carlson, right? If I look at the two people on the opposite sides, like, they're the same, because they were just spinning propaganda the entire time. Don... I love SNL. I think I saw a bit where they were doing Tucker Carlson. I think Jeremy Colhane played Tucker, and it's like they are putting frogs in the water that make them gay. Like, or sorry, that was an Alex Jones quote, but I'm trying to think of like a funny quote. But like they would do like. He'd be like, I remember whenever they did this sexy M&Ms. I remember that one. America is putting M&Ms on TV, telling you they're sexy. Well, this M&M is brown. America is trying to tell you that you're not pretty unless you're brown. That sounds like something that would have happened on his programming. It's just like, and that's Don Lemon would do the same thing. Like I have a hard time. I have a hard time with this. Really.
And I couldn't sit there silent and walk out next to somebody like a Jake Tapper and act like he's a good guy.
Yeah.
These people-
Yeah, I'm not walking out to next to somebody like a Jake Tapper and pretending he's a good guy. And it's really interesting because the media has been stoking division with President Donald Trump. They have been attacking President Donald Trump for over a decade now, ever since he came down the balcony and said, build a wall. Mexico's going to pay for it. Ever since that moment, the media has decided.
Yes, exactly. He walked down. This is a fact. He walked down and said, you forgot part of the quote here. You forgot part of the quote. He said, Mexicans are bad. They're bad people. Some of them are good. You're excluding a large population of people and being like, well, some of them are okay, I guess. Like, and somebody in the chat said, like, I watch Fox News clips while I'm watching something like Last Week Tonight, and I can safely say that right-wing news outlets are very much more propaganda adjacent, at least in my view. Yeah, you watch them and you're like, this is propaganda. Like, you watch it and you just like, the points that they pull out, they are doing propaganda. The left wing does not do that. The left wing does not just come right out and be like, this is propaganda. That's what I'm saying. I have a hard time with that because, like, the left's like, here's what the president did, and the right's like, well, the left are saying the president did this. Like, what? All right, let's cut back to this. I'm sorry, this guy is like, oh, they've been attacking him. They've been saying the things that they've been reporting on the things that he's done. That would be like saying I'm doing propaganda because I played a clip of the DoorDash grandma that one time. Like, yeah, it's kind of the thing. If you're doing a news show, you have to report on what's going on. And that includes playing clips, talking about the things that the president's saying. And yes, the president's saying, I want to build a wall because Mexicans are bad. I don't care what you think. That is racist. Like, that's not a matter of opinion. That is racist. Like, and we have it on the intro, but there was a time where screaming out the wrong noise got you disqualified from the presidency. The right got upset because Obama wore a tan suit. Yes. But it's propaganda if you talk about the president's numerous number of sexual assault allegations. It's propaganda if you talk about the lawsuits against him that alleged he partook in racist practices while he was a real estate tycoon. Yes, these are real. These are like things that are out there. And that would have been okay. So I'm gonna put this in perspective. Do you guys? I don't know how many people remember this. I was young, but this is like a very pivotal thing I remember the news reporting on. Do you guys remember when Don Sterling was on tape saying the N-word? I think if the president went up there and said the N-word, they'd be like, he's just joking around. He's just a locker room talk. But I think everybody unanimously in America was like, hey, that's not a good thing. You can't say that. Like, that's not okay. So I'm trying to understand why these facts, they are facts. These allegations are things that have come out about the president. I'm not saying the allegations themselves are facts, but I'm saying it is a fact that these allegations are out there. And it's a problem when they're being reported on. It's attacking. Talking about facts are attacking. Like, I find it hard to believe. I find it very hard to believe. And then, like, they'll get on the news and be like, well, this person's not a woman. This person's not a woman. Without actually knowing what they're talking about, right? So they're like, well, it's a fact. It's a fact. You can't just change facts. And it's like, yeah, but it depends on what you're talking about. Are you talking about Which sex characteristic are you talking about? Because there's gendered chromosomes. There's people that are born with multiple sets of gender chromosomes. There's obviously people will point towards like their sexual organs. Like that's, but there's people that can have like the full on male chromosomes, male chromosomes, test like full blown testosterone, and have female parts. So like this is why I have a hard time with it, because it's like they're like, well, these are the facts, and it's like, yeah, but you guys sat there and went on the news and falsely claimed that a woman who was intersex was taking a woman's place as a man, like it, at the Olympics. So, like, I have a hard time with this. And there's people on the right that are still like, well, they let a man play in the Olympics. No, they didn't. This person was intersex. They were not transgender. Like, you had right-wing influencers even pushing this narrative. Like, these are not facts. But then when the left starts saying things that are facts, or starts reporting that, like, these allegations exist, it's attacking all of a sudden. Like, that's what I have a hard time with this. Is that the people on the right are like, oh, well, you're attacking us. By saying facts? By talking about court cases, you're attacking? It's just stupid.
They put their sights on Donald Trump, and they've been doing nothing but churning out negativity, lies, propaganda to try to turn public opinion against President Donald Trump. And that's why you have, somebody asked a question, I forget who it was, and they said, why is it President Donald Trump that you believe it may have been Peter Ducey, why is it that you believe President Donald Trump that you continue to get attacked in this way? Why is it you believe President Donald Trump that you are the victim or the target of so many assassination attempts? And President Donald Trump was very cordial, and he said, well, when you do something right, people come after you. When you're an effective leader, people come after you. He said, when you look at all of the presidents who effectively have led and have done things that are of great importance in the world, those are the ones who have either been assassinated or whose lives, there have been attempts on their lives. And he said, so, I'm a little honored that they...
So, and in this quote, I just want to make this clear. Obama had 10 assassination attempts on his life that we know about. So, here's my question. Here's a really, really good question to ask. How is it that you think he didn't lead effectively, but you think if people have assassinations attempted on them, you think they're successful leaders? I'm having a hard time with
They think
this.
I'm important enough and effective enough to try to take me out multiple times. Now, that's a nice way to put it, but he knows the truth, and we know the truth as well. The reason he's attacked is because guys like Jake Tapper and folks in the media continually attack him and try to paint him and portray him.
Well, because people on the left are reporting facts and people on the right are getting upset, and they themselves are also being incredibly divisive.
As an evil villain that must be stopped at all costs, and they're weak-minded.
We haven't had any divisive left-wing presidents that were as divisive as Donald Trump. When Biden took office, he literally said, like, I am here to lead for the left, the right, and the center. And even like Obama before him, Obama wanted to just do what was best for the people while committing war crimes, yeah. But, like, see, that's the thing, right? Is when things are reported on, I have a hard time with this.
Low IQ viewers and listeners and readers fall for it. Speaking of which, ABC's Jonathan Karl was speaking to George Snuffleupagus, who already lied about President Donald Trump and had to shell out $16 million
No. He did not lie about the president. Let me make this clear. They settled so that CBS would not have to go to court, because if CBS went to court, it would have slowed down their merger process with some of Trump's really good friends. And they also did not want to anger Trump's really good friends and lead them into not wanting to purchase Paramount. Like, that's what happened. The judge himself claimed that he was found liable.
It was talking to Jonathan Karl this morning. Listen to what Jonathan Karl said President Donald Trump did this morning.
John, your phone rang early this morning?
Yeah, my phone rang shortly after 7 a.m. My landline, George, actually a number that few people call, and it was President Trump calling. He said at first he was calling to see if I was okay with what happened last night. Are you okay? And then he reiterated many of the things he said in his press conference last night, emphasizing the unity that he felt in that moment, that he felt at the dinner before the shooting and certainly after.
See, here's my problem, okay? The president cannot go on talking about unity. The president cannot be upset about people on the right getting upset or celebrating his death. He actively, or the assassination attempt on his life, he actively celebrated that Paul Pelosi was being attacked. He actively celebrated the attack on Paul Pelosi. How can you get upset at the left whenever they're doing the things that you're doing? They got upset when a couple of far left people got on Twitter and was celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. There were no elected representatives celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk as far as like our federal and state governments go. Right? Like, yeah, you had a couple people on like school boards and things. But you had the people that were celebrating were everyday citizens. But whenever it comes to the right, the right unites behind these hate campaigns. Like, the president got on stage and talked about Paul Pelosi's attack and was celebrating the attack on Paul Pelosi. That's not what to play.
People who reached out to him. And he said absolutely, and he was quite firm about this, that dinner must be rescheduled. It must be rescheduled. He knows that I was a former president of the White House Correspondents Association and had worked with him on a dinner that never actually happened back during COVID. And he was saying, we've got to get this dinner back on. It has to happen.
So President Donald Trump, the morning after yet another assassination attempt, and I'll tell you, I'll show you the proof of that in just a minute. But Jonathan Karl, the morning after an assassination, less than 12 hours later, gets a phone call on his landline from the president of the United States, who had to get rushed off stage, whose wife was there, whose entire cabinet, family members probably calling him saying, "Are you okay?" This is the third time now that we've seen publicly, and President Donald Trump is thinking about the reporters, by the way, who are just awful to him. Jonathan Karl has written multiple books against President Donald Trump. His latest one, or one of the most famous ones, Betrayal, the final act of the Trump show. He has ridiculed and he has profited off of the ridicule of President Donald Trump for years now. Jonathan Karl has written several books about President Donald Trump. Here's another one: Retribution, Donald Trump and the Campaign That Changed America. He's been. Hold
on. These are stories that happen behind the scenes. Okay, so let's read this. In Retribution, Jonathan Karl's unparalleled access brings us behind closed doors deep inside the White House and presidential campaigns, revealing the extraordinary moments that ended one man's presidency and brought one back to power. So it's showing what happened behind the scenes. Things that happened behind the scenes.
Bad-mouthing Donald Trump to the tune of, I don't even know how many. There's a ton of these books. And all of these reporters that were there are writing them, and they're all trying to profit off of it. And Donald Trump still realizes that they're people. And in the morning, after an event like this, he calls them to find out if they're okay. And Jonathan Karl seemed a little surprised by that, as would anybody who's written the kind of things and said the kind of things that he said about President Donald Trump. I would be shocked, too, if that guy called me just to find out if I was okay. But that's exactly what Donald Trump does. He calls people, he cares about people, and he wants to know, are you?
There were so many things happening. There are so many things happening during the Trump presidency that there are headlines about it from left, right, and center sources every single fucking day. When Biden was president, I actually enjoyed the peace and quiet. I enjoyed the peace and quiet because there weren't numerous articles daily about what he was saying or doing. I'm sorry, I would take him in a heartbeat, despite his lack of cognizance. He didn't display his lack of cognizance like the president does.
Back at the venue, a couple of the other crazy things that happened. One was the video of the shooter who ran into the Hilton Hotel, ran so quickly by the first checkpoint that it was like a blur. There was video that President Donald Trump posted. And you can see, here they are. This is the checkpoint, black and white security cam footage. These are Secret Service agents and other agents, I think National Guard there. Here comes the guy. He just ducked it down and ran by, and everybody pulls their gun out. And eventually he was apprehended. President Donald Trump famously posted the photo on his Truth Social. And we now know that this guy was a 31-year-old teacher from California who wrote a vicious manifesto, hated Donald Trump, hated Republicans, hated Christians, hated basically everybody. And for some reason, this school teacher, tried to take out the president. And not only the president, but a lot of other people. Peter Doocy reported this morning about what President Donald Trump told him was this guy's plan.
Talking to the president, he is, and the things that he's been hearing, he's of the understanding that this guy was trying to essentially break down the door, shoot his way through the door, and then go right up that center aisle and shoot as many people as possible.
The goal was to run up the center aisle, get into the ballroom, and shoot as many people as possible. And of course, right up the center aisle means the table where President Donald Trump is sitting with his wife, with the vice president, with the press secretary, with others. Right up the front aisle means running by Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Everybody was there. It was a jam-packed room. And had this guy breached the perimeter, had he gotten into the ballroom, there's no telling what would have happened and what kind of damage he'd be able to do. But luckily, the Secret Service stopped him. Outside, after this would go on, and this just goes to show how lunatic these leftists are. There was a woman, well, get this, and I don't know the thought process here. She's lucky to be alive. I'll be honest with you. There was a woman outside while President Donald Trump was in his caravan, while he was back in the motorcade, while they were racing him after an attempted assassination plot, while the Secret Service was racing him and his staff and everyone back to the White House to a secure location, some woman decides she's going to try to run at his limousine. I'm telling you, she's lucky she's walking.
Stay behind the perimeter. Do not cross the gate.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, back up.
That's fine. You can arrest her. She was. I don't know what she was doing.
But definitely not right like minutes after an assassination attempt gone wrong when he tries to evacuate. I mean, you're just asking.
I agree with him on this point.
Finally, President Donald Trump got back to the White House, and within 30 to 40 minutes, he called a press conference. Why? Well, he wanted everyone to know that he was okay. He wanted everyone to know that that the situation had been taken care of, that the law enforcement agents did their jobs. He wanted to know that the left-wing lunatics weren't able to get to him, and he also wanted to remind everybody that this exact thing is why we need that big, beautiful ballroom.
And we looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, it's not a particularly secure building. And I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before.
Yeah, we need the ballroom. Donald Trump said, look, I'm glad everybody's safe. I'm glad we're okay. We need the ballroom. If we had the ballroom built, if we had the bulletproof glass, the drone proofing, we could have a secure venue at the White House.
Nobody gets in. Fair. I think that's fair.
The media would have been safe. The dignitaries would have been safe. The cabinet would have been safe. I would have been safe. This was Donald Trump in taking advantage of the situation to demand that the Democrats stop messing with his ballroom and let him build it already. As you can imagine, the Democrats were very upset that President Donald Trump
hold on. Here's the thing, right? We've had numerous presidents in this hotel. And I don't know that it was always specifically this hotel, but we've had numerous presidents go to a hotel ballroom. But numerous presidents go to a ballroom that is not part of the White House, and they were fine, but automatically, all of a sudden, he has his life threatened. And he's like, we needed to do it on the White House. But also, this is not the White House's event. The White House... The whole point of this event is for the press. For the press that covers the White House. Okay? This is a foundation separate from the government that runs this event. And I mean this. I'm going to say this now, and I mean this. Events from private citizens, events from charities and organizations separate from the government cannot and should not be hosted in this ballroom.
Official statement announcing plans for a brand new White House ballroom
last July. So here's where he was talking about the ballroom.
Last night, the POTUS and his acolytes immediately seized on the
WHA
attack to justify his dream project. Now, I'm going to run this through WritePen just because it's one of my favorite things to do. WritePen is our truth-finding, media-busting software. And it's an AI software, and all you have to do is you have to take a screenshot of any Twitter post or Facebook post or headline that you don't like. You can take an entire article, run it through WritePen AI, and it'll sniff out all the spin. It'll destroy the lies, and it'll reveal the truth. Plus, it'll give you this brilliant marked-up correction, so you can take...
I've never seen this before.
Here's what Right Pen corrected on David Axelrod's X. Last night, the POTUS and his allies immediately responded to the WHCA attack to justify the renovation plan, which is exactly what it is. And now we can take this, save it, and repost it on X. In fact, we'll do that right now. Quote, things change. We can just add it to the original post, write things change, post it on X, and now we've exposed David Axelrod and
What?
posted the truth, which is
You just changed words. You just changed words to make it look more
But interestingly
appropriate
enough,
for your point of view.
night was Senator John Fetterman from Pennsylvania, who was also there with his wife, and he wrote, "We were there, front and center. That venue wasn't built to accommodate an event with the line of succession for the U.S. government. After witnessing last night, drop the TDS and build the White House ballroom for events."
Let me ask this question, okay? Why would we host an event in this ballroom? Why would we host an event in this ballroom? That is not hosted by the government. Trump wants to create his own White House press corps dinner event. And my other question here is, does that mean that the White House is also going to be able to determine which organizations get through? So let's say CNN does this hit piece on him, right? And then CNN turns around and gets told, you can't come in here. This is the White House. We say your access is completely revoked. See, now you kind of see there's an issue there. The White House does not run this event. This is not a White House event.
Exactly like these. You know, if Senator John Fetterman's on board with it, you know that it's got to be something that the Democrats just hate.
Yes, that's a good point. Man with brain damage, lots of brain damage, says that he wants something. The left doesn't want that. That's why, because a man with brain damage, you're pointing out that a man with like severe brain damage wants something the president does, so that makes him right automatically.
And he even used the term TDS, which I was a big fan of. There's more to this story, of course, popping up every single.
That just tells you that he's going more towards the right. Like, he's using their terminologies. TDS is like their new version of woke, which is hilarious because if you don't fit their vision, they're going to cancel you, which is funny because that's what wokeism, that's what their view of wokeism is. Like, in their brain, wokeism is like cancel culture. But, like, I find this hard. As somebody that sits in the center most of the time, like, I find it so hard to support anybody that's part of this party. Like, I find it so fucking hard because it's like, you're canceling people after criticizing them for a long-ass time about canceling you. Like, a couple years ago, I could totally understand. Like, okay, I see where I sit on the right on this. I see where I sit on the left with this. But it becomes so much harder to sit with them on any fucking issue, and it's going to fuck them over. It's going to severely fuck them over when it comes to the midterms. And that's going to fuck over their shots at the presidency because and again, this is what the left is going to have to do. The left is going to have to start putting things into place. The left is going to have to actually do shit. And if the left actually does shit, then the right's chances at a presidency are nilch. Because I can tell you right now, I will not, anybody that's in Trump's circle, as somebody who sits on the center, I will never vote for anyone who is sitting in Trump's corner. I will never vote for JD Never Trump Vance. I will never vote for RFK Jr. I will not vote for Kristi Noem. What a bad job she's done. Mark Wayne Mullen? No. There's not a person in his cabinet that I have any respect for. Linda McMahon is evil as fuck. Her husband did severely evil shit. One of her husband's closest allies in their business did some very evil shit. But guess what? She covered that shit up. So I have no respect for Linda McMahon. I have no respect for Kristi Noem. I have no respect for Mark Wayne Mullen. I have no respect for J.D. Vance. I have nothing for any of these guys, which is funny. Because in a heartbeat, the guy whose views completely differ from mine, a guy like Mike Pence, I'd have voted for him over Biden in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. But I will never vote for J.D. Vance. Because he's so flippant on what he wants. Like, I just have such a hard time with this, right? I'm not a media person, so I don't have to, like, spin this a certain... This is how I feel as a centrist voter. Like, it's crazy. And I want to talk about the midterms a little bit. There's a video I saw. I'm hoping I can find it. There was a video I saw earlier. This is a CNN video. So for those of you that don't know what midterms are, I'm going to play this video. Let's see if it'll play. And I'm going to see if I can find the video I was talking about. I'm going to commentate over this. I don't hear it. Why don't I hear it? Uh-oh. We're
not about to have a new American president. It's the midterms.
There is an inferno raging in Washington.
Trump Captain Mitch McConnell has created millions of jobs for China people.
I'm Brian Kemp. I'm so conservative. I blow up government spending.
Thousands of candidates across the country are taking part in state elections.
Bill Ray running for Congress. We're at the shooting range.
They're held every 4 years to vote in new members of Congress and state governors. They're often seen as a referendum on the sitting president's performance, and this year's vote is shaping up to be one of the most important in years.
This is our most important midterm election perhaps ever.
So, how do the midterms actually work? The US Congress is made up of two houses, the House of Representatives and the Senate. Members of the House serve 2-year terms, with all 430...
I don't think they're going... One thing I don't think they're going to include is local government elections, which also happen during the midterms.
So, what's the current standing in Congress? Well, Republicans currently control both houses. That's made life easier for President Donald Trump to get his legislation through. He's had 2 Supreme Court nominees appointed, wound back environmental protections, introduced tax cuts, and is pushing ahead with his plans to build a wall on the Mexican border. So could the Democrats flip the House? There's a good chance the Democrats could gain control of the House of Representatives, with all of the 435 seats up for grabs. In the Senate, Republicans may only have a slim majority, but not every seat is being contested. Most of the seats in the Senate that are being contested are already held by Democrats, and many in places that voted in favour of Donald Trump. So the Senate is less likely to flip. So why should we care about the midterms? Well, this election could shape the next 2 years of Donald Trump's presidency. Whichever party controls Congress controls the passage of laws. If Democrats win control of either chamber, Trump's legislative agenda would be mostly dead on arrival, meaning no border wall, no cuts to welfare and social security, and no further tax cuts. A win for Republicans, though, could mean further dismantling of Obamacare, and...
So, yeah, this is basically, like, what the next video is going to say, but the next video is going to have, like, a really good perspective, on like the specific races. Yeah, a lot of Democratic seats are up. Then these are strong held Democratic seats. But there's a couple Republican seats up, and if they're taken, Trump doesn't get his legislation passed. And midterms are a sign of the presidency. However, usually midterms go the way of the opposite party. And you're looking at local elections, you're looking at Senate, governors, all of that. So it's not a key indicator, but it's a good. Usually if the right, or usually if the active party does the thing that they like, if they are doing a good job, usually it's not a problem for them to win midterms. But like in the case of Biden's presidency, midterms were bad for him because there wasn't a lot going on. Like he wasn't doing much. And so it was just like, yeah. And for Trump, like he's doing so many things that the public perceives as bad. His shots are low too. I'd be surprised if the Republicans win the midterms.
More conservative judges.
Here is the next video. This is the video I wanted to watch to begin with and talk about. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Ooh.
The 2026 midterm elections. We're in for a fun one today. Believe it or not, folks, we're just about 8 months away from the 2026 midterm elections, and things are in full swing with primaries.
They are. Absolutely. Primaries have already happened at this point for the most part.
And the rhetoric we've seen recently from the current Trump administration means that these midterms could be unlike any other ones we've ever seen.
True.
Specific races, let me provide some quick historical context for you. Midterm elections almost always go poorly for the party that controls the White House. Since World War II, the president's party has lost an average of about 26 House seats.
That's what I was talking about earlier.
There have been very few exceptions to this rule. So heading into 2026, Democrats have history on their side. Trump is obviously still in the White House and Republicans control both chambers of Congress, but if the pattern holds, voters will be looking to check that power. The question isn't really whether Democrats will gain seats at this point, it's whether they'll gain enough to actually flip one.
And that's what the previous video and I were talking about.
In today's video, I'm not only going to be previewing all the key Senate and House races that you'll need to be paying attention to as we get closer to Election Day, but also diving deeper into potential disruptions to these midterms that we could see from the current Trump administration, as well as just the general impact of what we could see unfold. Before all of that though, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out.
Yeah, we get it. We get it. We get it.
My weekly newsletter down below in the description where I cover interesting news stories you may have missed. Those drop every Friday. Now let's begin by diving into key 2026 Senate races. The 2026 Senate races you need to follow. Pretty long section as a whole because I want to make sure I don't miss anything for you. So strap in, maybe grab a snack, and put on some comfy clothes. Let's get into it. We're starting with the Senate today because this is where Democrats are facing their toughest battle overall, and it's where things have the potential to get really spicy. Republicans currently hold a 53 to 47 seat majority, with 2 of those 47 seats belonging to independent candidates. So Democrats would need to net 4 seats as a whole to take back control of the Senate. And when you look at the map, it becomes pretty clear why that's such a tall order. We've got 35 Senate seats up for re-election this cycle. That includes 33 regular elections and 2 special.
So I also want to point out those independents, I believe they both caucus with the Democratic Party. One of them might caucus with the Republican, but I think the 2 independents caucus with the Democrats as well. So it's kind of like they have those seats anyway. So they really just have to get the 2.
Elections are in Florida, where
or the 4.
Ashley Moody was appointed by Governor DeSantis to hold Marco Rubio's old seat, in Ohio, where John Huston was appointed by Governor DeWine after J.D. Vance became vice president. Here's the thing. Democrats are defending 13 seats while Republicans are defending 22. On the surface, that sounds pretty good for Democrats. But when you dig into it, most of those Republican seats are in deep red states that aren't competitive whatsoever. Meanwhile, Democrats are trying to hold on to 2 seats in states that Trump actually won in 2024, Michigan and Georgia. If they lose either one of those, then you can pretty much forget about Democrats taking back majority in the Senate. But anyways, there are really 4 genuine toss-up races that matter here, and Democrats need to sweep all 4 just to have a chance. Let's break down each one, beginning with Maine, where Republican Senator Susan Collins is running for her 6th consecutive term.
So I think they're going to talk about North Carolina in this video as well, and I'm really excited for that one because I know who I'm voting for that race, and it ain't going to be a fucking Republican. I'm all in on Cooper. Anyways.
Since 1997, and has managed to win in the blue state over and over again, even in tough years for Republicans. But she's 73 years old now, and Democrats are hoping this is finally the year they can beat her. The Democratic primary is a hotly contested battle between Governor Janet Mills and Graham Plattner. Mills is 78 and would be 79 when sworn in if she wins. She's got the full backing of Chuck Schumer and the Democratic establishment. She's also won statewide twice as governor, so she knows Maine politics inside and out. Plattner, meanwhile, is 41 and is a Marine veteran and oyster.
I think a big problem of the Democratic Party this time around is that they're old.
With the previous controversy about him potentially having a Nazi tattoo being a stain on his record. I'm not going to get into that too much, but I'll link some articles down below if you want to know more. Anyways, the polling in this primary has been absolutely wild. An October poll from the University of New Hampshire had Plattner destroying Mills 58% to 24%. Then a December poll from Pan Atlantic Research completely flipped that, showing Mills ahead 47% to 37%. Then Plattner's own internal poll in January had him back up by 15 points. It seems like every time a controversy hits the news cycle, the numbers shift, but then Plattner bounces back, particularly with younger voters who seem willing to forgive his past mistakes. Regardless, the main primary isn't until June, so there's still plenty of time for this race to develop. Meanwhile, down in North Carolina, we have what's probably the Democrats' best shot at actually picking up a seat in the Senate. Republican Tom Tillis isn't running for re-election.
Woo! Good riddance, you bitch.
He also voted against Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, and Trump immediately came out.
Goodbye, you fucking cowardice bitch.
Literally the next day, Tillis announced he was retiring from the Senate. On the Democratic side, they got former Governor Roy Cooper to run. Cooper served 2 terms as governor and won statewide 3 times in a state.
Let's go!
Ratings and is exactly the kind of moderate Democrat who can win in a purple state. He's got a pretty solid profile for it. The Republican primary on.
He was also a candidate for vice president under Kamala Harris, and I really think she would have had a much better shot at winning if she would have done 2 things. If Harris would have had a much better shot at winning, if A, she would have picked Roy Cooper as her vice president, which also he dropped out of the race, so she really didn't have that option. But if she would have picked Cooper, and if she would have separated herself from the Biden administration, honestly, what she should have done, in my opinion, is that she should have said, hey, thank you so much to the president. I am, for the remainder of your term, going to step aside, campaign, and I am going to talk about the things that you've done that I do not like, so I think it'll be best if I step aside, let you bring somebody up in the interim just to serve as VP, and I'm going to resume and just I'm going to take over this thing myself, because she did not get along with the Bidens, and that was the problem, right? She was picked because he wanted to pick a black lady, and she was there, so they didn't get along. It's very clear they didn't get along, and there's a lot of things that he didn't support, but she was his vice president, so she had to support them. She couldn't openly come out and be like, well, I don't like that the Biden administration is doing this thing, blah, 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 and that wouldn't have fared well for her. So really, the 2 best ways she could have won was A, saying that, you know, I don't support the Biden administration and the things they've done, and then also that the whole Roy Cooper thing. And she should have specified, too. I think she would have done a really good job if she ran on the fact that she knew what she was talking about. She is one of the only presidential candidates to serve in 3 different branches of government.
You've got Michael Whatley, the former RNC chair who has Trump's endorsement. Then there's Don Brown, an attorney who's positioned himself as more of a populist conservative. And finally, there's Michelle Morrow, an education activist who ran for state superintendent in 2024. Recent polling from Carolina Forward in January had Whatley leading with 36%, Brown at 6%, and Morrow at 4%. However, nearly half of Republican primary voters were still undecided, which is a huge chunk of voters who could swing this race in any direction. North Carolina hasn't elected a Democratic senator since Kay Hagan won in 2008, but if there was ever going to be an opening for Democrats, this is probably it. Anyways, let's now travel north to Michigan, which is the other Democrat-held seat that absolutely has to be defended, and losing it would be catastrophic for any majority.
We also had not voted in I could be wrong, but we also had not voted in a Democratic governor in a long time before Roy Cooper came along. So
Democrat Senator Gary Peters is retiring, and Trump won the state in 2024. If this seat flips red, Democrats can basically kiss their majority hopes goodbye, because it would mean they'd have to flip 5 Republican seats instead of 4, which is essentially impossible given the current map. The Democratic primary is a complete mess and doesn't even conclude until August, which is insanely late in the cycle as a whole, and that gives Republicans a huge head start for the general election. In the primary race, you've got Congresswoman Haley Stevens from the Detroit suburbs, State Senator Mallory McMorrow, and former Wayne County Health Director Abdul El Sayed, who ran for governor back in 2018. Recent polling from Emerson College in early February showed McMorrow at 22%, Stevens at 7%.
You know, I would like to see, and this is just me spitballing, I would like to see the right-wing party of North Carolina, like, not the people currently involved. I would like to see, like, former governors, former senators, former representatives from North Carolina that are Republicans. I would like to see them get behind Cooper, and I think that would be really cool to see, because I'm going to make it clear, if there was a Democratic candidate or a Democratic president that was doing the things that Trump is doing now just to further his agenda, I would be completely, and the party like unanimously supported him, I would be completely against him, and I would probably, as long as the other person more aligned with my values, I would probably support a Republican candidate. Like, that's what's crazy to me, and I see this a lot. The people on the left like to hold their politicians accountable. That's why Biden had calls for him to step down, just because he stumbled a little bit in a very awful presidential debate. Like, that's why he stepped down, is because the party was like, hey, dude, we need to hold you accountable. You need to step down. And, like, you would never see anything like that in the Republican Party, because if you saw anything like that in the Republican Party, Trump would not have won in 2024. He also would not have, like, made it past the primary. I don't think. Why is it's not playing? Oh, that's why. But yeah, that's where I stand on it, but who knows. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the show so far today. We've been on for about an hour and a half, which is half an hour more than usual. We had a little more chat this time than usual. Special thank you to Steve in the chat. Killer Viper Steve, friend of the show. Yeah, I think it's been a pretty good show. I'm getting ready to end the show because I can't go on for another half hour. I plan on going out this afternoon doing a little bit of door dashing. I'm not Drake Dragsaw. I'm not going to do I'm not going to do a stream where I do IRL stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys all have a good day. And this, for me, has been it. Thank you all so much.